So this is a review for your probability quiz, which is on lessons 1 to 5, okay? So these are the things you need to know. So if you don't know them, you need to go back over the last 5 lessons and figure out how to do them if you want to do well on the quiz, okay? You are going to have to know how to do a stem and leaf plot. So, stem and leaf, it's just a T, right? So I always put the S and L. There's no marks for that, but it helps me keep it straight in my head. So let's imagine we have marks on a test, okay, that somebody got. So let's say they got a 72, an 80, a 64, 95, 100, and a 78, okay? Those are the marks they got on these tests. Now we have to put them in the stem and leaf plot. So 72 goes in as 7 on the stem, 2 on the leaf. 80 goes in as 8 on the stem, 0 on the leaf. 64 goes in, 6 on the stem, 4 on the leaf. 95 goes in, 9 and 5. 78, we go back to the 7 from the 70 and add an 8, okay? We need to add the 100. There can only be one number in the leaf, so that means the rest of the numbers have to go on the stem. So 10 goes in the stem, 0 goes on the leaf, okay? Only ever one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leaves. But our numbers are not in order. So this stem and leaf plot is not done. So I have to recopy it in order. So my lowest stem is a 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm good. With my 6, I have 4. With my 7, I have a 2 and an 8, and they are in order, so I can just copy them like that. If they weren't in order, you need to put them in order. 60, or where am I at? 8. 80 gets the 0, 9 gets a 5, and 100 gets a 0. Now, if I had, if say they got 2 64s, I would put another 4 here, okay? You need a leaf for every single piece of data. So if you have a set of data that has 10 leaves, you should have, or that has 10 pieces of data in it, you should have 10 leaves, okay? So you need to know how to do a stem and leaf plot. Make sure you know how to do that. Okay, in your stem and leaf plot, I should have left it, but so let's guess. We'll say a 64, a 65, a 72, a 75, a 77, an 81, a 90, and a 100. I just made it up. That's our data, okay? It says you need to find the smallest number. The smallest number will be the first. You also need to find the biggest number. The biggest number will be the last. If there's multiple leaves, it will be the last leaf. Okay? It's literally the last thing you write is the biggest number. The range is take the biggest, in our case it's 100, take the smallest, 64. There's a 36-point spread. If you think about it like in sports, there's a 36-point spread. That's the range between the high and low. So that's how you figure out the range, high minus low. Mode is the number that repeats the most. In my data that I just made, we don't have a mode. But if she got 2 65s, then 65 would be the mode, okay? Because it's the only number that repeats twice, 65, 65. So I'm not going to confuse you. I won't say anything else, okay? So range, largest, smallest, mode. How do I find the mean? I add it up, then I divide. So if I have data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and 5 is 11, and 4 is 15, and 3 is 18, 21. So it's 21, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of data. 21 divided by 6 is 3.5. Okay? You need to know how to do the mean. Now, if this is our same piece of, if this is our same data set, and we need to find the median, I cannot tell you strongly enough, when you do median, the numbers must be in order. Do it smallest to greatest, it's easiest. You take your fingers and you walk in. So I go in one, in one. In this case, I have two numbers in the middle. I have to find out what's in the middle of 3 and 4. This is easy, it's 3.5. Okay? Mean, add it up, divide it. Median, find the middle number when your numbers are in order. Range is high minus low. Okay? There's more talk about the median. Make sure the numbers are in order. They're going to try to trick you by keeping the numbers out of order. Okay, we talked about mean again. Sum, you're going to run into the word sum. Sum means adding. It's the answer to an adding question. So when it asks you, when it says, what is the sum of the numbers, it means what is the total when you add them together. Okay? Marking values on number lines, you can certainly do that. They ask you about an outlier. Remember, if our set was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 70, 70 would be the outlier. It doesn't belong with the rest of our numbers. It's some sort of freak piece of data. Okay, so they're going to ask you about outliers. Finding the mean. There's a question about a sports team, like similar to one we did yesterday. And then mean of data values. They have a missing number, okay? What you need to remember when you're trying to work backwards with a mean is if they give you, if they give you 5 pieces of data, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They give you 5 pieces of data, but they don't tell you what one of them is, right? But they tell you what the mean is. They say the mean is 10, okay? Well, you know when you add these all up, right, and divide by 5, it has to equal 10. So if you know what the mean is, if you take that and multiply it by how many pieces of data there are, so in our case, there's 5, right? I know that the total of those lines has to equal, in this case, 50, because I had 5 pieces of data and I know the mean is 50. So if I know what 4 of these numbers are, I can add them up and figure out what I have to add to it to get to 50. Okay? So you're going to see a question like this where there's a piece of data missing. Look at how many pieces of data there are, multiply it by the mean, and figure out what you need to add to the pile to make the total. Okay? That's it, that's all. Easy breezy. I think this should go very well and look forward to seeing it. Kylie.